Twin lens reflex cameras are definitely my favorite kind of camera. They're just so much fun to shoot. So when I saw this cheap little toy TLR camera in my recommendations on AliExpress, I simply had to get it for my collection of cheap toy cameras, especially since film photography has become so expensive recently. In this video, I'll take this little toy for a spin and compare it to my trusty old iPhone SE 2020, which is so old by now that it might be a fair comparison. Hi guys, today I have this little gem here. It's a little toy camera. Maybe you've seen it on social media. I apparently live under a rock, so I had not seen this yet. I don't really watch TikTok, so maybe other people are more qualified to talk about viral cameras. I don't really care. The reason why I got this is because it is super cute. I love shooting with TLR cameras, with twin lens reflex cameras, and I have two of them, a Rolleicord and the Mamiya C220. So I love little TLR cameras. Of course, this is not a real TLR. It only has one lens, so it's not really a real TLR. But you look through this little viewfinder here, it pops up like a normal TLR viewfinder. I'm actually really surprised at the build quality. It's super well done. And it has all these cute little features. If you do this, it starts recording. That's just so cute. And you can also go through your pictures like this. So it has all these nice little cute features, and I like it for that. Of course, the camera is a bit pants. The image quality is not amazing, but it's a toy camera and it cost me 30 euros. For comparison's sake, a roll of slide film now costs 30 euros, so little camera, one roll of slide film, it was an easy decision. So today I'm going to try it out properly and see what I think about using it outside and whether it's actually fun, interesting, and still usable despite the image quality. You have to keep in mind that I actually started shooting little digital cameras like this many years ago because I am old. I'm old now. I know when digital cameras first came out, I was there. So, and these cameras were pretty much like this little camera here. And I had little cameras that I really loved, which produced quite similar image quality, and I was fine with it. So if I could be fine back then with little old digital cameras, then I can be fine now with this little toy thing. It actually has a plastic lens, and since I love plastic cameras like Diana's, Holga's, and that sort of thing, I'm actually right in my element. I know it's not going to be amazing. It's not going to rival my big honking C220, of course not, but that's totally fine. That's not what it's meant to be. It's just a fun little camera. For comparison, I have my phone. Yeah, I know. I'm not someone who normally takes pictures with a phone. I know that very well. But it has a grip. It's nice to hold like this. It has a shutter button like this. So it's not too bad. And I wanted to try out the enhancer on the phone to compare it to this little TLR camera, because that's more realistic of a comparison than comparing it to my big TLRs. It's kind of the same sensor, just that the sensor in the little toy camera is probably like 10 years old or something like that in comparison. Like a phone from 10 years ago, maybe. So let's see what we can get from this. I suppose it's not going to be a masterwork, what comes out of it, but I'll try my best and then we'll see. And what is happening to my hair? So it's not going to be some kind of masterwork that comes out of it. I doubt it very much because it's a phone and a little toy camera. But I'll try my best and then we can compare, right? So yeah, let's get this little strange project on the road. Have I thought this through properly? I'm just having fun here, doing not very outcome-focused photography, and that always improves things for me. I always need to have fun, and then I'm just enjoying the process. If I'm just having fun, then I don't care so much whether the outcome is not that great. And the point here is to have some fun. One thing to mention is probably the weight of the camera. It's really super light. So light, in fact, that I felt like weighing it down with a tripod plate because it just didn't feel very substantial, and it made me feel a little bit safer having a tripod plate on it because it made it a little bit heavier and it felt it wasn't just gonna fall out of my hand. I'm also using a strap for the same reason. I'm using my Lumix strap actually, which is total overkill. You don't really need a heavy strap like that. But well, I guess I just like using it and it was the strap that I had on me. And yeah, I tend to be a little bit clumsy, so I was worried about dropping this thing. In a way, the lightweight makes it really portable though, so even though it's an extra thing to carry apart from your phone, for example, I mean, the best camera is always the camera that you have on you. But with this lightweight thing, you actually can chuck it into your bag and you're likely to have it on you because it's not taking up much space. If you take a more serious camera, it's definitely going to weigh you down and it's another thing to bring, and this you can just keep in your bag and forget about it until you actually need it. I mean, need it until you want to use it. I don't think that you will ever need a camera like this. So this was a fun little experiment. The screen on this little thing is literally tiny. So it's very hard to judge whether anything is in focus. It has autofocus, which is kind of crazy with this small little camera. But yeah, it's hard to judge whether that's actually working. It's impossible to control it. You can't really select what it focuses on, which is of course better on a phone because you have a much bigger screen and you can select what it does and so on. So there's more manual control on a phone for sure. This is all fully automatic, so it's a point and shoot and that's it. And that's fun that way. I quite like it. The phone grip in comparison is a little bit more straightforward, I suppose. You don't have this confusion about where you're pointing the TLR, which way you have to tilt it so that it becomes straight. And that's the fun with TLRs anyway. You have that with film TLRs too. So it's nothing new for me, but it might confuse people with the little Chuzhao or whatever it's called. Yeah, with the phone, it's a bit easier. I put the phone in square so that it would be comparable. And it's quite a lot more convenient to shoot on the phone. But that's all right. I was having fun anyway, and this was just a short little test to see whether I'm wasting my time with any of this, which I probably am, but that's fine. Sometimes it's great to waste your time with fun little toy cameras, and having fun, never a waste of time. I also shot video while I was taking the pictures with the phone, while I was using the Chuzhao, and with the Chuzhao while I was taking pictures with the phone. I hope that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's fine. And yeah, I think I will get an impression of the video quality. I don't know. I don't expect much of this little camera, but maybe it's handy when I run out of battery on my GoPro, which actually happened earlier. So my GoPro right now is dead, and my 2 batteries are, of course, at home where they belong. Yeah, nothing ever is easy while you're out with 3, 4 cameras trying to make a video. But that's normal, I suppose. Yeah, I'm having fun and I'm enjoying myself, and I think that's the main takeaway here. You can have fun in any way, even with your phone. It doesn't have to be a masterwork every time either. Sometimes it's just fun to take pictures just because. And yeah, I should probably do that more, I think, because I was having fun. Too much fun. More fun than with a serious camera where I have to be serious about every picture and think, oh, are people gonna like this? Am I gonna put this on Instagram? I never put my pictures on Instagram anyway, so not my problem. But these videos, is this good enough for a video? With this little thing, maybe I don't have to think about it like that. Or with this. Also, excuse all the background noise. There's just no place here to film without either the Autobahn or some generator or whatever humming away at the same time. So this is just the reality of this particular nature preserve. There's no way of getting away from the noise. I better go and get away from this motorway because it's annoying me, the sound. And also the generator here is also annoying me. And yeah, annoying noises. If you enjoy the music in this video, then you can check out my Bandcamp, rollercoaster.bandcamp.com. You can also support my channel on Ko-fi, where there are different membership tier options, and you can get early access to my videos or download the music in them. This really helps out to keep the channel running, because that way I have more time to spend on these videos and I can bring you more of them. Thank you for all your support, it really helps. I actually think that this camera is intentionally crappy. I can't really imagine that they couldn't find a better camera sensor at the same price, because there are really cheap cameras out there that do better than this. And I would say that everything about this is intentionally crappy. The audio quality is crappy on the video. Of course, the swan is gone, so it's not a fair comparison. And in the main shooting function, like when you use the little crank, it actually doesn't record audio, only if you long press the button. And the image quality in that mode is also pretty bad. There's a lot of pixelation in the darks, and there's something weird going on there. And in a way, it reminds me of all these really old cameras, the digicams that you sometimes see nowadays. They have become a bit of a trend, I suppose, and I guess it's trying to go in that direction. If you compare it to a serious camera, it's of course utterly ridiculous. even in comparison to a phone, the quality is a bit worse, I would say. Even this old phone that I have, I mean, it's an iPhone 2020 SE or SE 2020. I don't know whether that's the right way around, but it's not really an expensive phone. So it's a kind of cheap sensor in a way. And I think those iPhone pictures are quite a bit better in quality, but at the same time, I find them over sharpened. I don't really like taking pictures with the iPhone. I only do it when I want to send a picture to my parents of something like an informative picture, not necessarily an artistic picture. I wouldn't really take pictures in any serious way on an iPhone. And the same is probably true for this little toy camera. Of course, you can't really expect amazing image quality from a camera that costs 30 euros. It's ridiculous to expect it. And all the complaints I see about this camera are like weird, because I think that it's actually pretty good for what it is. I mean, it's a toy, it costs as much as a roller slide film. I don't think that you can expect more than what you're getting. At the same time, there's also something interesting about it, because it has these digicam vibes, like early digital cameras from the early 2000s maybe. Those had maybe the same kind of image quality, slightly better perhaps on these old cameras, I don't know. I have to compare it at some point. That would be a fun little project too. Anyway, I think that it has some sort of vibe to it, and if you process them in the right way, it's actually quite nice. It has the sort of painterly processing on the JPEGs. There's a little bit that you can do to improve the quality by, for example, using dehancer. I found the transitions from one color area to the next a little smoother if I processed it with dehancer. And I thought the colors also turned a little nicer with that. The colors on this thing are not great, I have to say. So I think the black and white mode could be more interesting, but I haven't really tried that out yet. Maybe in another video I will take black and white pictures instead. The thing is, I think that nowadays people don't really want perfect image quality anymore anyway. Lately, with all this AI slop everywhere, it's really easy to get perfect results with everything. Most cameras produce decent results nowadays. If you're not really using a really old kind of budget iPhone for your photography, then I think even iPhones can do a lot better than this. And people don't really want that, I think, because with AI, it seems that everything is so glossy and so perfect these days that we want authenticity rather than perfect results. There's also this trend of people using more film again, which is one of the reasons why it's so expensive now. Oh God, don't get me started. But in any case, people want much more authentic results. And this little crappy camera might actually feel more raw and real than whatever glossy things come out of some perfect camera or AI. In the end, I think this is actually a winner, precisely because it's crappy. I mean, if you shoot with a Diana or a Holga, you're not expecting super sharp results either. You're expecting weird colors sometimes. I rarely use it with color film, but I do use the Dianas a lot, and I'm not expecting sharpness, I'm not expecting anything of that nature. And most of the time I'm using it as a sort of a filter in a way. It gives everything a sort of dreamy quality. This is not quite there yet. There's one ingredient missing, I think, and this is some kind of filter on it. I sometimes shoot with a brownie and I flip the lens on it, and that gives really interesting results. And there are actually these little filters for phones that you can use, radial filters, flow filters, that sort of thing. And they're sort of the same kind of size as this lens of this little camera. So I'm going to try around with that in another video that is coming soon. And I will put filters on this camera and see what I can get, whether I can get sort of closer to the kind of toy camera images that I like to make these days. So I think it has a lot of potential for that. And for the price, it's actually quite cool. So, and there's one important aspect too, which is that I actually came back from this photo walk with a big smile on my face. And I don't always have that when I go out to take pictures, also not with more expensive cameras or whatever. This thing was just a whole lot of fun. So that alone makes it a winner already. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps out my channel, so I would really appreciate it. And actually, I would suggest that in this case, you subscribe to my new photography channel, because I only posted this video over here so that people know I make photography videos again. I will post these on my new photography channel though, because lately I've been posting mostly music related stuff here, and I would be totally bombarding this channel with photography videos if I were to post them here, because I have a lot coming now. I'm actually planning to make weekly videos from now on over there. Yeah, I would like to keep this channel music related from now on. So if you're interested in music, you can also subscribe to this one. But I think the photography channel may be a better fit if you enjoyed this video. There will be a new Chuzhao video coming soon over there with the filters I mentioned. And if you don't want to miss that, then please subscribe. In any case, I hope I see you soon for another video. Bye.